So we're going to be improving the search that we made on the app in the last video. Right now we can search a word and it'll actually search below. So the next step is to add beds and guests so you can search those as well. Now what I was thinking for that is maybe setting up a formic form, but I thought we've already set up a bunch of formic forms that we might as well do one without formic. And I think it's less necessary here because we're not doing too many complicated things. And what I'm thinking about for doing the guests is to add a slider here from React Native Elements and try this out. So I'm going to copy their little sample code and put that in here. And I'm just going to put the slider below the text input. So we need to import view from React Native. And we need to create a value for this. So let's make this guess. And I'm going to start guess going to be 1. And we're going to get that from the state. So we'll do that here. I'm going to say guess. And then on value change, I'm going to say guess is equal to value. And we just need to update our state up here. Guess is now a number, and we already have 2 imports, so I need to make those into 1. There we go. And here's our little slider. Now the value looks messed up, and that's because we are passing in null here, or really a value that doesn't exist. So let's pass that in, and I'm going to call this guests. Alright, so now we can see we have 1 guess, and alright, so it lets me pull it back, and we don't really want the decimal values, so I'm going to specify the step is equal to 1, and I guess now I can go between 1 and 0. Let's see if there's a prop over here where we can say what the maximum value is. Here's a minimum maximum value. So I'm going to set the maximum value to be 5. Alright, so now I can do that. I guess I can't click here, I have to actually drag. Okay. And this is ginormous right now. I think it's because I have maybe this stretch is doing it. No. Is it? I'm not sure. Oh, probably because I have flex 1 right here. There we go, so now it's not ginormous. Now I want to be able to search based on that, so I'm going to pass in the guests here. And now I can get just the ones that have 1 guest. Let's get the one that have 2 guests, 3 guests, 4 guests, and so on. And now we can add 1 more slider, and this will be for our beds. And there might be a better component to use for this because there's not really a way to turn it off. So I'm going to say beds is also going to be 1, state is going to be beds, and then we're just going to pass the beds in here. So the value is going to be beds. We're going to step 1, maximum value 5, say beds here, and then when we update the state we're going to say beds. And we just need to update our state up here, our interface. Alright, now that's happy. And now I can see, and I can do different ones, 2 beds, 3 beds, and now we just need to pass this to our query down here. So we're going to say beds. And now we're looking at the ones that have 1 bed and 1 guest that contain the letter T. So it's only this one. And if I do an F, only this guy comes up. And I can increase this. There's a few more. And I can now search down and prune it. So our operations at the top look pretty good for now. The next thing that I want to do is improve the body portion. So right now we are using a scroll view and we are just mapping through the cards. This works fine for a basic example, but as our cards get more and more, it's better to use what's called a flat list. This renders is more performant with big lists and makes it easier for pagination, which we want to add in. So I'm going to import FlatList from React Native. And let's go ahead and replace, we're going to replace this whole scroll view, but I'm just going to render it right here for now. We're going to say FlatList, and oh, it should be a capital L. There we go. And so for FlatList, we pass in the data. So for us, the data is listings. And then we pass in a render item. And this is a function that renders the item. So here we take an item, which is a listing, and then we do whatever we want with it. So we're going to do the same thing we did here, which is to render a card. And now the only difference here is, so I'm just going to rename this to L, because we use L all over here. So I can rename that by saying :L there, and now this item is called L, and I can use it here. Now notice how I'm passing in a key here. We don't actually pass a key there. And actually, let me save what we used for that, because we need to actually pass an extract, or a key extractor. And what this does is it takes, same thing, an item. So this is going to be the item, and we're going to grab the ID from that and return a unique string. So I'm going to say LID and do that same thing. So now we no longer, or I guess here, we just destructured it. I destructuring out the I out. And it looks like it just crashed for me on the phone. Let's reopen Expo. And go over to projects, open it back up, and okay, so it looks like it looks fine right now. So we can see here's our flat list, and it looks the same, or our scroll view, I mean. And I can get rid of scroll view now that we have at the top. So we didn't change anything about the behavior, but now underneath we have a better engine to be able to do things. So now with the flat list, the reason why this is helpful is we can say, we can add a footer now, a list footer component. So if I want to, I can just say view, and I'm just going to say text, and I can say footer. So now when I scroll to the bottom of this list, I can see a footer down here. And so this allows us to add all kinds of stuff. So for example, we could add a load more button down here to page to the next page, or we could just make it infinite scrolling because there has that capability of flat list as well. But we're going to do that in the next video. That's it for this one. That's how you set up flat list, and you get better performance this way.